hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls.
What Bama does, what Bama do. They were giving Alabama like Alabama was this. If Alabama didn't lose their two
Does
stars.
not show up that day,
Dude,
or was it
you watch the same?
systematically?
It's offense more like I know this is more of a passing.
Hey, who knows? It might have been, might have not been. Who knows? But then again, that's what I call it football. I mean,
Oh man, that's definitely going on the blooper
hey,
reel.
you do that voice, I think of Norbert. Oh my God, we have a dandelion encrusted rib.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how is everybody doing out there in the ether sphere, in the internet, on Beyonce's Blue app, on Elon Musk's tweet, on the IG, on all of that stuff, wherever you're watching this? Thank you for joining us today. It is time for another edition of This Week in SEC Football, Season 2, episode number 7. No. 8, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Episode number, Season 2, episode 7. I know how to count to like 30, and I forgot. I know how to count to 49, and I forgot 7. That's just typical. That's just typical.
Old age, my brother.
Hey, Donnie, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you stopping through. We got folks in the chat already. What's up? Hey, Sid, what's going on? Shouts out to my man, Sid Swinton, one half of Sunday Morning with the Swintons, or a.k.a. the Hot Mess Express, a.k.a. I'm Having a Moment. Good stuff on Sundays. You need to check them out. They're on early, like 9:30, 10 o'clock Central, and I forgot how early on the East Coast. They have a little quiz. Sid's wife, Ash, comes up with a little quiz. I think last week they did NFC South, and I missed it because they talked all about the Falcons, and I had nothing. Yes, in Spanish, Mike. In Spanish, I can count to 50 or 49. I can count way higher than that. And I can count higher than that in English. Watch this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. So, hey, Janaika, appreciate y'all joining us. Anyway. Those of you just joining us, welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of This Week in SEC Football. I am Mr. Fingaz, coming to you from Zagnif Central Live, and that feller right over there, the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place in your face. I got it right. Bang, boom, all the way through is the one, the only Collin P. How you doing, bro?
You got it, man. What it is, showbiz? How you been, man?
I've been good, but I have a hard time not cracking up every time you hit me with that. You gotta put the Snoop Dogg on it. What it is, showbiz. What it do, baby boo. What it is, showbiz. What it do, baby boo. On this weekend, SEC football, we doing what we do, and we sitting up here talking football here to there. When I'm not talking football, I just
you better be careful. You might be copyrighting your behind, man. Watch out now. Watch out.
That ain't even a Snoop Dogg lyric. That's a Mr. Fingaz original, fresh off the not too well shaved dome. I'm showing the grades today. Look at that. Got a little salt right there, some flour. I'm gonna wipe that off later. It's not coming off. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate you joining us for this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. I had to shut it off, y'all, because y'all know I do get real silly real quick. First things first, we want to jump right into it before we get into what we talk about. You guys know we've been raising funds all month. May is CDH Awareness Month. That stands for Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia. It is a condition that children can be diagnosed with generally at about week 20 on the sonogram. If you're getting a sonogram or whatever, however, sonogram, we just call it sonogram. I can't talk today. First, I can't count the 7 in Spanish. Now I can't remember sonogram. It's gonna be a long show, y'all. Bear with me. But for those of you that don't know, it's a condition, and Collin, correct me if I'm wrong, where you get a hernia in the diaphragm, and your lower vital organs tend to push up into your chest cavity.
Exactly. Like we all have a diaphragm that cuts us in half, right? And it's the left side, the hole in the left side, the hole in the right side, or doesn't completely form, and all your organs in your abdomen tend to move up, and they put pressure on other vital organs, your heart, lungs, that kind of stuff. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and what Collin said, and what winds up happening is these children have to have tons of operations and surgeries, and their parents have to come out of pocket for hospital expenses and hotel stays, and it's they're raising money to raise awareness. They're raising money for research. They're raising money to help defray. There's your $75 SAT word for the day. The expenses of the parents, a la the Ronald McDonald House, a la what St. Jude Children's Hospital is. They're trying to work their way toward that goal. So we thank each and every one of you that have donated. We're not tracking because we've just pretty much been giving out the main website. So please, if you have it in your heart, 50 cents, $1, $2, $10, whatever you got, they will greatly appreciate it. Visit that website today and drop off a donation to help with that research. So thank you guys that have reached out and showed your support with that this month. We really appreciate it. And Collin and I are going to be putting something little, as Nick Cannon said, we're going to put a little something on the end once the month is done. So,
sure.
All right. You ready to get into this, man?
I'm ready, man. We had a lot going on this past week, bro.
Dude, a lot, but it was all based around one story. I don't know. Rumor has it that a couple of guys that are well-known coaches just kind of got into it, and one guy who's well-respected said some stuff, and other people felt disrespected. Isn't it the funniest thing when somebody says something and they're not even talking about you, but they just say something, and then other people just feel disrespected because they think you talking about them?
Yeah, absolutely.
The old folks, me, Collin, and I are both from Georgia. The folks in our older generation had a saying: "A hit dog will holler." So,
for sure.
So, we think maybe that there may have been some smoke, and where there's smoke, there is fire. Before we go another further, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to send a big shout out to our primary sponsor, GreekGans.com and DJG Enterprises. They can provide you with any custom-made fan gear for your team, professional or college. They can't put the logos because they don't have the trademarking, but they can do colored stuff in the colors, put your name on it, make funny little stuff on it for you. The tumblers are laser engraved. They can get them in different types of colors. If you want an Afghan, they do those too. So go by and holler at our folks at www.greekgans.com. Let me hide that so you can see the website there. That's www.greekgans.com. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of this week in SEC football. All right, we're getting back into this though, man. So just for those of you that may have missed it, and I don't know how you missed it, if you're a fan of college football, old Nick Saban, the guy that is considered the GOAT of modern college football, one of the greatest coaches ever to stalk the sidelines during a game in the modern era, came out and had a lot to say about the NIL, the name, image, and likeness deal. And the name, image, and likeness deal, just to let you know, there's this much kerfuffle. I like using that word. That's your $275 SAT word for the day there, kerfuffle. So I've given you I forgot what the other one was I gave you. Of course, I couldn't count the 49 in Spanish either, and I'm running really good right now. Go Dogs! And we're getting a big shot of college chef right now. Appreciate it.
Sorry, my bad. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
It's like, hold on, I gotta fix the camera right.
My laptop was about to die, and I don't want to do that again. There we go. I'm sorry.
Way to be prepared for the show, bro.
Man, we were talking for like 30 minutes before the show, and I mean, I am what I am. I'm sorry.
I'm giving you a hard time about being prepared for the show, and I'm smelling this Jimmy John sitting in the corner over here. I want to take a huge bite of it. Like I got the monster, I got the giant, and it's like it's messy. So anyway, Nick Saban came out and had a lot to say about NIL, and what he had to say wasn't necessarily positive. Now, basically what he said is you got all these schools that are just going out and buying students to come and play. And he made reference to the fact that Alabama had done it the right way, and other schools are just throwing money at people. Those of you that are popping in, we appreciate you. Please make sure to give us a like, share, and subscribe if you're sticking around. Even if you don't agree with what we say and you want to say we're a couple of idiots, just drop something in the comments and say, hey, you're a couple of idiots. Have a good day. Just be nice about it. You can call us idiots. Just be nice.
They don't have to be nice, man. It's all good.
No, because if they're not nice, then Stephen A. Smith may come out, and then I may bring a cat may come out behind him. I will whoop you with a dandelion encrusted rib right now. Don't even get me started.
See, there you go.
Don't get me started right now, boo-boo, because I got a sandwich over here and I'm hungry.
It's been a minute.
A brother ain't ate since Obama wore the tan suit, and you know that's been a long time. Easter 2000, whenever it was. Anyway, I'm back. So he had a lot to say about that, and a couple of coaches clapped back, like prime time. He said that prime time that they paid that kid $1 million to come down there, and of course, prime time doesn't hold his tongue. He said, "Oh, y'all don't know." I'm paraphrasing. I'm about to address all the lies that Coach Saban told, all of them. Now, of course,
there goes to the fact is like, do you think, like, I mean, honestly, do you think them losing the national championship to us, do you think that holds any kind of water? Like, I mean, do you think that's why he's coming out like that? I mean, honestly, I don't think so. But then again, you never know. I mean, he's talking stuff about Jimbo. He's talking, I mean, they have enough player caliber that they don't need. But to be honest with you, look at A&M. Look at A&M. So look at their 5-star recruits in the past couple of years, and look what they did this year.
Oh, it went through the roof. It did big difference, night and day.
I mean, you got to be like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I can't. It's hard to kind of put a like a cover over that, because I mean it's a different story. Like, I mean, is it about the money? I mean, like the NIL. I mean, these players coming there because of the money. Who knows? I mean, only they know. We don't know, right?
I can answer that for you. Yes, these are a bunch of broke 18-year-olds that made them. And they might not get a chance to play in the league. So, and they want money too.
They're trying to get that bag, bro.
Part of the reason that they want to play football in the first place is exactly because they want to secure the bag. Period. That's the new term. I'm not of that age, but I understand it. The term right now is secure the bag. Like, I don't know what it's going to be 6 weeks down the road. So, things flip so fast. I mean, 2 months ago we were just talking about. Not even 2 months ago we were just talking about Chris Rock getting smacked by Will Smith, and I haven't seen a Will and Jada joke in weeks, so I'm assuming that's old news. Anyway, so what we have here is, yes, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yes, I mean, if nothing proves that for you, think about all of the teams that went through massive suspensions or death penalty, like Southern Methodist, when they had Eric Dickerson, and they called it the best running back room that money could buy. I mean, they were handing these guys money left, right, and center. Reggie Bush had to give up his Heisman Trophy. About every 3 to 4 years, you had some scandal pop off because somebody handed some money and somebody handed off some money.
That goes to the point where I'm saying is like, yes, they should be given, these players in college should be given some type of award or some monetary or not. I mean, give them something, but no, I'm not talking millions. I'm like, get it something that they, get them something for their image and likeness and that kind of stuff, because they should be paid for it. Like video games, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they should be given something. You know what I mean? They're giving scholarships. I agree, that's something. But I mean, they should give it monetary. But they shouldn't be giving millions upon millions of dollars. Then you run into the story. You run into the problem. These youngins giving all this cash, they're gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and who was it that said? It was Deion Sanders said that they need to hire people on their staff to kind of corral these kids. Getting these NIL money, to kind of corral them, to make them kind of not make those bad decisions when what comes along with that type of money.
Yeah, well, let just for frame of reference, let me break it down for you, bro. I got some stats pulled up here right now.
Sure.
Their ticket revenue for 2021 dropped to $32.3 million.
Whose ticket revenue?
University of Alabama. Just using them as an example. It dropped to $32.3 million.
Okay.
That means that's revenue they brought in last season, $32.3 million. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the biggest revenue gainer in 2021.
Sure.
It drops $32.3 million. I'm sorry. Oh, that was during the 2020 season. My bad. It dropped down to 6 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the 2019 season, ticket revenue was $36.89 million because the stadium was limited to 20% capacity.
Right. Okay.
But think
Yeah.
about that.
Wow,
If the
that's a lot of money, though.
stadiums were wide open this past year, so I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they went above and beyond that.
Yeah.
They were operating at a $9.6 million surplus, and then you think about how much money Nick Saban makes, how much money the coaching staff
Oh, yeah.
make, how much revenue they make off the
Merchandise.
gear, the merchandise. Thank you. How much money they make at the overinflated beers. I mean, they sell you
Yeah.
40 cents worth of beer with half a cap full of foam in it for $14.
Yep.
You know, you go across the street to the 7-Eleven and get a Four Loko for like $3.85. Not that I ever drank Four Loko before.
Oh, you really? Come on now.
But I digress. But you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on a comment here that we got from our homeboy Ash AJ Johnson that basically says Saban didn't say anything wrong. I don't know. I don't know
I don't
why
think he did either.
I don't know why the Facebook profile is not showing up. All except the Facebook profile. I don't know why it's not letting me show the Facebook profile. But oh, there's no alcohol sold at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I've never been, so I wouldn't know.
Where's that?
But he said that Nick Saban isn't wrong, although paying players to come to your school may not technically be against the new rules. Is not what it was intended for. But that's
Yeah.
what it has turned into, because the NCAA just basically said, "Hey, we're going to leave it to the schools. We're not even going to touch it." Which,
But
I
bro,
think is very
it's been known. Like, it actually, I mean, all this was said before all this NIL stuff started. You know, you are just opening a can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These kids are coming, you know, to college and straight out of high school, and they're making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's not. I mean, I don't even understand it, to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, they should get paid. They should be getting something. Now, I'm not on the board. I can't make these kind of decisions. They should get something for their image and likeness. Yes, absolutely. But millions and millions of dollars, that just fast tracks them to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But these kids are so young, they need to get older and kind of get a little bit more, you know, a little bit. They need to grow up before they get their millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, let me ask you this question then. You mentioned about fast tracking to the NFL. Do you think that at some point, eventually, the Power Five schools are just going to branch off and be kind of like the equivalent of the NBA, like in Major League Baseball minor leagues, where these kids will just all be paid and they'll be essentially pro football players that will be hoping for a chance to get called up and they'll all get paid?
I mean,
while they're
maybe.
playing at school.
I mean, that's what it's turning into, right? I mean, like,
Now,
honestly, these kids are going. I mean, they don't. That goes back to like a couple episodes before, you know, we talked about this, like college kids, then the transfer portal. You know, it goes back to the transfer. There's no loyalty. You know, when you have a scholarship to a college and you agree to play college football for this specific school, if you don't like the situation, you can. I mean, that's transfer portal. You can go. You know what I'm saying?
that's also a wild, wild west situation. We'll have to talk about on another show. But
Sure.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I mean, I think it goes to. I think it relates to the NIL though. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
but think about it like this: the year before, I think it was a couple years before, they pretty much did away. I think Justin Fields' transfer was the big thing that said, well, you didn't have to sit out a year anymore. So that was just a few years ago that they said, hey, you don't have to sit out anymore. And then 2 years later, they turn around and they say, hey, let's let these kids make money, and gave them no guidelines whatsoever. So to an extent, I agree with Nick. I agree with what Nick Saban is saying, because it's been happening all along. But you know,
now it's out in the open. You know,
now it's wide out in the open, and nobody's trying to hide it. You've got booster clubs getting together and local business owners that are just throwing money left, right, and Sunday at these players, and there's no motivation for a kid to step his game up and get better.
You're exactly right.
Oh, I'm not getting any playing time. I'm not getting any playing time here. So I'm just going to hit the transfer portal, and USC is offering me X number of dollars to come out and play there. So that's
there's no motivation for him, the player, to get better. to get that position. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's like, hey, I don't like the situation. I'm just gonna go. You know.
Hey, yeah. Hey, guys, don't. And for those of you that are on the Facebook feed, it's not giving me the opportunity to show your comments. So don't feel left out. It's just not letting me show your comments. We'll figure that out on the next show. Sean says players follow the lead of the coaches. He's absolutely right. And there is no loyalty because the coaches have no loyalty. If you don't believe me, look at what happened. Look at what happened with the artist formerly known as Lincoln Riley.
Right. A lie he didn't tell.
The artist formerly known as Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly. At one point, Harbaugh was thinking about leaving Michigan, like, and it was public. He didn't even try to hide it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was this huge coaching carousel. Now, Dan Lanning leaving to go to Oregon, that's a different ball game. It's
totally
like,
different ball game.
Opportunity for me to get a head coaching slot. I'm going to take that. Those kinds of things. But
the Brian Kelly thing kind of hit me from, like sideways. Sideways. It's just I didn't see him going. But at the same point, it's crazy about how college football is. I mean, you can kind of agree that it's turning into NFL.
Absolutely.
These young kids, and I don't think it's going to be a good thing, to be honest with you. Having all this money thrown at these young kids, I mean, it used to be these kids are trying to make it to the next level. Now they've already made it to the next level. I mean, out of high school, you get paid these millions of dollars. I mean, what are you going to do, to be honest with you? I mean, I'm just obviously speaking as, in my opinion, but I mean, like, what are these kids are going to do on the football field? You know what I'm saying? When they get all this money, do they play their heart out? I mean, will they play for the team? I mean, where's their mind at? You know what I'm saying?
I think the biggest concern for me is the generation that is most affected by the I want what it is, I want it right now, are now coming into the league. There's first, you got a first couple of classes of them in the league, and now a lot of them are in college. They want their playing time, they want it now. And to raise a point that's brought up in the comments again from AJ, the classic example is Tate Martell. I use Tate Martell all the time. Absolutely. Tate Martell was at Ohio State. He was the heir apparent for the starting quarterback job at OSU for the Buckeyes. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields transferred. He raised a whole bunch of hullabaloo. It's like, don't think you can come and get this job. Justin Fields got the job. He transferred, and he had transferred to OSU from some junior from Georgia. No, not Justin. Tate Martell.
Oh, Martell, sorry.
Tate Martell, I forgot where he transferred from. He transferred from somewhere to OSU and thought he was going to get the starting job. Justin Fields came in and usurped him. There's your $375 SAT word for the day. I'm on a roll, y'all. And then Justin Fields comes in, and then he winds up transferring to UNLV, and he had some, personal conduct issues, wound up, got hurt and had some personal conduct issues and wound up not even starting, and then he just announced early this year that he's retiring from football. The reality of the situation is, here's a guy who was the big fish in the small pond in school, who became a big fish in a pond full of bigger fish.
Exactly.
Bigger, better, like Carney, harder, better, faster, stronger. There we go. So the bigger fish in the bigger pond were better than him. So then he wound up going someplace else, and he couldn't even make it at UNLV, who's not even a Power 5 school. Now he's like, I don't even want to play football anyway. But I that's my concern. I think they really need to reel that in. But we kind of getting off the beaten path. The thing is with these schools is they're not trying to hide it anymore. Now, my hypothesis that I gave the Golden Blue Dude, which we'll get into a little bit later. Golden Blue Dude, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna snip this out.
We got to get him back on, bro.
I'm gonna put it all together. But Golden Blue, I had this conversation with Golden Blue Dude, and I told him, by the way, great vlog to go check out. Golden Blue Dude, big West Virginia fan. Check him out. He puts out a new video every single day. The guy is one of he's one of the hardest working vloggers out there, and he talks Big 12 football. He talks all sorts of football. I mean, he talks all NCAA Division I football.
That's what I was saying. I was surprised to see him jump that video with the SEC East.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't give it away.
Okay.
We'll get there.
I ain't jumping.
I was talking with Golden Blue Dude, and he said, I said, this is what I think. I think if you want to get these guys' name, image, and likeness, yes, they should get paid for their autographs. Yes,
Without
they
question.
should get what they should be doing is giving them a percentage of the merchandise sales of any of the stuff with their names on it, or it all goes into a collective and gets spread out amongst the team or whatever. Merchandise, posters, t-shirts, jerseys, hats,
Sure.
mini helmets, all of that crap. Some of that needs to go into a collective for the team and they get paid out. If an individual player happens to get an NIL deal, my suggestion was it goes into an interest-bearing trust fund of which they get paid out an allowance or per diem, something reasonable. You're 18 years. My thought process is, don't get me wrong, they want to make the money. You're 18 years old. You don't know how to handle 7 figures yet. But here's what you could be here's $50,000, which to an 18-year-old college student is a hell of a lot of money. The rest of it annually, renewable every year. If you come back, if you have a good performance and no conduct problems and no run-ins with the law, and you come back again next year, you got the same.
You good.
You get another year. You get a step increase. Meanwhile, what you have each year, say it's $500K a year. So you're talking 1.5 mil if they do the 3 years, because they only have to stay 3 years. You got 1.5 mil, you're getting paid $50K, then $60K, then $70K the following year. If you come back,
have it modeled like a stock option program, like you such and such, how much money gets vested in an amount of time.
Right. Okay. And if you stay with the school until you leave for the NFL, you get that plus whatever the NFL give you. That's yours.
Yep.
If you leave, the NIL deal from this school is null and void and non-transferable to another school.
Agreed.
Plain and simple. Like
that's common sense, bro.
You understand what I'm saying? DJ Ugalele got $1 million last year. And he struggled.
In my opinion, it makes these kids, like, honestly, it makes them not even. I mean, I don't know. But in my mind, I think it makes them not want to get to the NFL because they're already getting paid. I mean, like, honestly, they're getting paid in college.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know
absolutely does. Well, hey, for those of you that are joining in, or if you're just popping by to say hi, thank you for dropping by. If you pop in, leave us a comment, just say hey or something. Even if you want to be the smart butt that says hey or something in the comments, literally what I said, we'll take that. But, let us know that you're here. We want to shout out our another one of our sponsors, which is 1906 Tees. They also do custom gear. They specialize in Greek paraphernalia. So if any of you are members of Greek letter organizations, and no, they don't have to be part of the Divine Nine, the original 9 historically African American fraternities and sororities. If you're in a Greek organization, they got you. If you got a favorite sports team, they got you. Again, no symbols or trademarks, but they can make you some nice custom gear. Go holler at them today at http://squareup.1906tees.com. That's where you can see them. Thank you for being a sponsor of This Week in SEC Football.
Hey, did you know that I'm actually in the fraternity? I'm a Pi Kappa Alpha. I'm a Pi.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, okay. We know about that.
I told you that.
Yeah, and I was mentioning the Divine Nine fraternities and organizations. I am a member of the first historically African American Greek letter organization, intercollegiate Greek letter organization, not an honor society, a social fraternity, nice. Alpha Phi Alpha. So we have that in common there. Hey, what's going on? I see you, Miss Christy Murphy Leonard. How are you doing? Congratulations to your son on his wedding this past weekend. The photos were absolutely gorgeous. And I'll message you the rest. I'll message you the rest later. But good to see you, dear. She's a big LSU Tigers fan. Awesome. She's a wonderful person. We can't all be perfect.
CC, baby.
She's a wonderful person. We can't all be perfect, but at least she's in the same conference. I've known her for a very long time, and I've watched her, her family grow up and everything. So it's good to see you on the podcast in the comments. Hey, you know what though, Christy? I will give you this much. I know you miss your coach. Go Tigers. There you go. I gave you that much.
Go Tigers.
Shout out to my battle buddy there, Matt Havlovic. We got in a mini night of trouble in San Antonio, and that's all the information I can give you that's not classified. Okay. So
tell you, but I had to kill you, right?
Yeah. Nah, I won't kill you, but hey, wait a minute. Come on now. Don't do that. We're on Facebook. We'll get kicked off Facebook. Don't do that.
No.
So we were talking NIL, Jimbo versus Saban. Now Jimbo Fisher fired back and said, "Hey, go back and ask their coaches, and you could any one of them will tell you what they did." Yes, they did. But Saban's thing is the way that he did it is the way that he's always done it, and
Well,
now
let's look
that
at where you and I were talking. Honestly, you got Jimbo, and you got he actually threw Jimbo under the bus, kind of, sort of, not really, and then you got Deion. He did. He mentioned the $1 million player, blah blah blah. But then you look at Kirby, right? So we had talked about that before we actually got on camera here. Why we don't have that situation at Georgia, because why? Because we haven't kind of the transfer portal, and like, do we have like that kind of NIL type of situation going on? Like, it just amazes me, like, how Jimbo could or Saban could bring like his proteges, this kind of stuff out in the open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's out in the open now, but it's not running rampant at Alabama like it is at some other schools, because now you have students that are sitting out and things like that. That are sitting out. It's at several schools in different sports. They like sitting out if they don't get a better NIL deal, and their skills might not necessarily. Again, big fish, small pond, moving into another pond with a whole bunch of other big fish and not being able to keep up. So just to give you an idea, since we're talking NIL, this is a perfect transition just to keep it moving. Let's look at what some of these kids are getting. We're just going to talk about the top end, okay? Let's see who we got here. Where is it? I got it right there. There we go. So, the big talk right now is about Arch Manning. We're going to get into him in a minute. So these are the top 5 NIL valuations in NCAA sports right now. Okay, you've got Bronny James, who we all know who Bronny James is. His son is his dad. I'm sorry, obviously is Big Bron. His NIL valuation right now, and he hadn't played a single game in college, is $6.3 million.
Jesus.
There's also another basketball player from born in San Diego, California. He plays for Vertical Academy, which is in North Carolina, and he is making his NIL is 2.6. Sharif O'Neal, who I'm going to assume, I haven't looked him up yet.
Shaq.
That's probably Shaq's kid, 2.3 million.
Shaq's kid, yeah.
And coming in at number 4 is Arch Manning at 2.1, but they're saying already that 2.1 is up to 3.6 as of since this weekend, because there was a weekend report that broke. There was a weekend report that broke on Bleacher Report that says that Arkansas reportedly had a $3.1 million package to give him if he came to sign at Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah, never played it down. Doesn't graduate, mind you. Doesn't graduate high school for another year. That's how much money they got on the table to give him as soon as he basically says, "I'm coming to Arkansas."
That's insane, because I mean, like the 3 schools that he has in mind to come. Is that the third one that we talk about? That is not even like
Arkansas is not even on the list.
Yeah, he's
right
not
now,
even entertaining that talk.
Right now, it's Georgia. He's got some visits in June with Georgia, Alabama, and Texas. And Georgia and Texas, he's visited twice. I think this is his first visit to Alabama.
Yeah.
But I think it's Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee, of course, because that's where his.
I mean, Georgia's a front runner, because he said, like, there's no, Athens is like the greatest college town he actually mentioned. So I mean, he said that. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, getting offered that kind of cash, dude. I mean, that's crazy to me.
And then there's AJ says that the wide receiver that left Pitt is being offered $3.5 million, and apparently that's more than that's.
I mean, is this coming from the school, Anthony? I mean,
no, I don't think it's coming from. No, the school can't pay him directly. No, man. Well, no.
But I mean, where's it coming from? Like,
no, the school can't pay them. The school can't pay them directly.
Trust me,
But
underneath the
basically,
table, bro. I got it. But I'm saying, like, where's it coming from?
you got boosters and sponsors, and you're
Sure.
talking Southern California. They mint money. They make their own money in California. They just print their own.
Those sideways action, like, oh, on the table.
But,
I got you.
I mean, it's in USC's in Los Angeles. You got the entire filmmaking industry. You got at least 1/4 of the music making industry, all the television studio, all of that out there.
I was just trying to say, like, where does it come? I mean, you got NIL deals. Like, where's it coming from? I mean, I understand you got Nike, you got all these the manufacturers that pay people to be sponsors.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, when you talk about that, the money you're talking, I mean, like, I'm trying to figure out where's that? Is that coming from sponsors or is that coming from the school? Like, how does that actually work? You know what I'm saying?
Last year, it was mainly coming from sponsors and big dollar boosters. Like case in point, DJ Ukulele had that that $1 million deal with Dr. Pepper.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I can kind of see it.
I'm not saying that out loud, AJ. We got our homie. By the way, shouts out to our 2 homeboys, part of the Let's Talk Football family. 3 of them. Sid Swinton, we shouted him out earlier. Sean Spencer, one half of Let's Talk Football, the Let's Talk Football family of podcasts. There are a ton of them. There's Let's Talk Football. There's Ladies Talk Football. There's Washington Football Weekly. There is the Let's Talk Football Fantasy. There's Let's Talk Basketball. I know I'm missing some more. There's our homeboy Nate Snell, who does the Big Nate podcast. He's the king of late nights. He's actually he's more now the king of middle of the evening because he's broadcasting a little bit earlier. And then there's us. Now, all of us are not necessarily Let's Talk Football podcast, but we're all affiliated with each other. So if you get you check out our guy, the Big Nate podcast on YouTube. This guy is a subject matter expert on everything.
Yeah,
baseball,
everything.
baseball, pro level, baseball, basketball,
even women's basketball. Like he posted some on women's
basketball, football, and women WNBA. Those are his big things. But at first it was coming from the big name sponsors because those were the only people that were kind of or local. Like what's that boy's name? Spencer Rattler that was here. Oh my God, he's been gone that quick. I forgot him. Spencer Rattler was just here in Oklahoma, and he had a big deal with one of the largest car dealership out here. They gave him a couple of cars.
Was it Eastern Motor? No, sorry, go ahead.
That's DC. That's DC. Out here, hey, look. Oklahoma has its own version of Eastern Motors. It's a place out here called Kalidi Kia. Kalidi Kia. But Caleb also got a big deal too because he left Oklahoma with 2 Land Rovers strapped to the trailer, not 1, but 2.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was just looking at the comments. I'm like, I saw Sean. He said, "Let's be honest. At least the big school kids have been getting paid forever." That's very true. It's just now in the open, like everybody's seeing now.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't. I mean, they should get paid something, but not millions of dollars. I mean, like Fingaz, can you actually agree with me on that? I mean, you got to have
already. I said that already. I said that earlier. Whatever they get,
it's not for me to decide or you decide. But I mean, like you got to have something for them to go to the next level.
Right. My suggestion for those of you just tuning in was put it in an interest-bearing trust. Yeah. They get X number of dollars a year, no more than 5 figures, no more than 5 figures per year. If they stay out of trouble, if they come back and sign, if they do blah blah blah, and they come back, they get another year of payout stipend out of that because they're 18, 19, 20 years old. I get it. NBA players and Major League Baseball players and hockey players can go right out of high. Most of them can go 1 year after high school and they get the money anyway. But anyway, I digress. But that was my point. And then if they do at least their 3-year stint before they leave and go to the league, hey, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for being a great player at our Division 1 or Power 5.
To be honest, man, that should go.
Here's the rest of your money.
Too. That should be the coaches too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could have. I mean, there's no loyalty anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know how they can do that, but I mean, like it should be the coaches too.
Yeah, but we could beat this dead horse all day, and we've been talking about it for most of the show. So to those of you that just joined us, thank you for tuning in to This Week in SEC Football Season 2, Episode 7. We appreciate you. I am Mr. Fingaz from Zagniff Live. That is my brother from another mother. the sexy mother hub of Collin P. We're talking SEC football here. We kind of got off the beaten track, and it's not hard to get off the beaten track when you talk about anything Nick Saban says or NIL. We just touched on Arch Manning and where he could potentially go. We're gonna kind of shift gears and go in a completely different direction here. Now, those of you that are watching us, you may be shocked to find this out, but we're not the only we're not the only college football video vloggers on the internet. We're not. And so we like to think that we are. Okay, that's enough of that. Stop laughing. We got some sound effects, and I'm just goofing with them. And there are plenty of people that have plenty of opinions. As long as you got a mic, a camera, and an internet connection, you can go on and set up whatever vlog you want. You need to even go straight live to YouTube without the platforms that we use if you want to do that. There is a vlogger, and we will not give him any.
We shouldn't.
We won't give him any. We won't give him any publicity by putting out the name of his vlog. But he came out and he said that the University of Georgia is literally falling apart. Now, those of you that have seen it, that's fine. We got some comments coming in front of YouTube. I missed them. What about the small schools, those that can't give athletes? Yes, Nate, you make a very valid point. The small schools can't get that kind of money. They can't get those big athletes because they don't have that money. You're absolutely right about that too, Nate.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, do we have any kind of? I mean, are there any players with these small schools getting those NIL deals? I mean, I haven't heard anything. I mean, honestly, you hear about the Power Five, blah blah blah. You get all these guys that get these kind of NIL deals. I mean,
yeah. One last question I want to answer before we move forward from the NIL. Got a question on the YouTube stream from AJ. Says, is it ethical to keep a kid's money if he leaves? Well, as long as the language, as long as I work a job where we deal with verbiage and terms and conditions all day. As long as that language is written into the terms and conditions of the NIL, it absolutely is, because a lot of these NIL deals, maybe not the nationwide deals with you understand what I'm saying? Like DJ got the thing with Dr. Pepper. That's not something controlled by the school. But if it's something that, like, say some kid comes to Norman to play for OU and Khalid Kia decides to give him the big deal that they gave to Caleb Williams, they are a local franchise that is, providing an NIL for a player that is playing for a team in their state.
Right.
You're not going to see like AJ, just as a case in point, you're not going to see OC Welch Motors give an NIL deal to CJ Stroud because he's playing at Ohio State. And that's my point. So as long as it's in the verbiage and the terms, is it kind of jacked up? Maybe, yeah. But as long as it's in the terms and conditions, then yes. Okay, so we got to move on from this. We got to get into this thing with this vlog. Oh, all right, Nate. All right, Nate.
Yeah. Nate's on one. Nate's on one right now.
Nate is always on one.
That's
not in a bad way. Like Nate is like the new generation Charles Barkley. I'm gonna say what I want to say, and I don't care. I'm gonna come on this microphone, and if you don't like me, you kiss my ass. If you don't like it, that's terrible. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Chuck, how you gonna come out say something like that? That's not good. I seen your butt. It's not very good. You sitting up here. Those of y'all don't know. Chuck be sitting up here farting the whole show. It does smell good. Shaquille O'Neal, you just go ahead and be quiet with your loud self, with your dark self. You darker than the man that's on the podcast right now with the brother from another mother. What's wrong with your eyebrows? Okay, I'm done. Back to where we were. This guy comes out and says that UGA is literally falling apart, and he says that UGA is falling apart because.
Why did he say that? Why did he say we're falling apart?
Because
this is the craziest thing. Go ahead.
Can I make this up? Because the University of Georgia lost 11 starters.
And
that's it.
And
that's it.
But you got to preface this guy's an Alabama fan.
This guy's an Alabama fan. Now, we are Georgia fans, but we are very objective about
of course
our team and what we think our team can do. There have been some games this past season where we said, I don't know.
But if anybody prefaces their Like, look here, I shoot straight from the hip, blah, 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 blah. I'm not biased. And then you know damn well they're biased. Because, I mean, if anybody says that before they say something, you know they have a certain opinion.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you.
See?
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I might not agree with your taste, with your dislike of certain parts of the chicken, but thank you. I'm with you on this one. My God. My God. My God. I'm planning my trip, Nate. I'm planning my trip. One day I'm just gonna show up. I'm gonna hit you up, be like, meet me at such and such.
You need to come back to the East Coast there, Fingers, man. You need to come back and I already talked to Sean. We gotta go to the Falcons and well, not the Falcons.
The Falcons play the Commanders at
I know, but they're here though. So you gotta come over here and we go to the game, bro.
So let's talk about this. He prefaces by saying, well, I'm an Alabama fan, but after that, I stopped listening because everything he says, I forgot who it was that said it, but said it a long time ago. I think it was a line in a movie. Everything you say after the but is BS. So he just immediately proceeds to come out of his mouth and say Georgia's falling apart. They lost 11 starters. He made no mention of all the players that the team has that are coming back. The Brock Bowers, the Ladd McConkeys, the Adonai Mitchell, Stetson, the stud. What's the boy's name? That's Big Swole. Robinson, that kid is coming in the running back.
Big boy looks like Holyfield, but he's no,
he looked like he run Holyfield over.
He got stung by 1,000 bees. Goodness gracious.
He definitely. Imagine. Oh, okay. Imagine a smaller, a shorter, but just as proportionate black, muscular version of The Rock.
Yeah. Like this was coming out of high school, though. You see the pictures of him coming out of high school.
Sean, I'm working my way to your question there, but this guy completely comes out and he makes no mention of any of that, makes no mention of the quarterback room, makes no mention of anything. This guy just says Georgia's completely falling apart, and I have this, and this is what I have to prove it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call sensationalism for clicks.
Yeah.
And this guy's got like 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers.
That was crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
did I put you on that, or did you see him before? Did I put you on that, or did you?
No, I discovered him because he talked a lot about University of Oklahoma, and I've been following the Sooners because they're coming to the SEC, and so he had a lot of news on. And after about 2 or 3 videos, I had to unfollow him because I mean, I'm gonna tell you this: if somebody says, I'll put it like this: if somebody tells you every day it's gonna rain, and you see him again on Tuesday, it's gonna rain. And they see him again on Wednesday. It's gonna rain. Eventually, it's gonna rain, and then they're gonna say, "See, I told you it was gonna rain."
Mm-hmm.
A broken clock is right twice a day. A blind squirrel will eventually find a nut. Come up with all the platitudes you want to. This guy is just throwing stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. I'm not dogging him because he's a Bama fan. I just that's just the kind of
it made no sense.
That's what we're dealing with. And this is one of the same guys that came out and said, well, in one of his videos that Alabama lost because
they didn't have their 2 receivers.
Because they didn't have their 2 starting receivers. He was on that gravy train too. But to get to your question, Sean, how do I think we're going to do this year? I've seen the schedule. I think Georgia has a legitimate shot at least running the regular season table, which leads me to Golden Blue Dude. This is your part of the show. I called you out earlier. Golden Blue Dude. You had some stuff to say. Golden Blue Dude seems to think that Georgia's going to go 10-2 this year, not win the conference, and not make the playoffs.
I mean, the only thing with that is like what surprised me that he has one of our losses being Kentucky. Now, South Carolina, I can kind of see.
I can't.
I mean, could South Carolina maybe? Kentucky, absolutely not. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I can't. I think we play South Carolina at Sanford. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Well, he goes to him. I mean, you got to watch his video. He goes to him every game. He has us. If we were playing in Tennessee, he has us losing to Tennessee. If we were playing in Knoxville,
we played at Tennessee last year, though. We should be playing at home this year.
We are, but I'm saying if we were playing Tennessee in Knoxville this year, he has us losing to Tennessee.
Don't see it.
I don't either.
Now Sean does mention something here. I'm gonna see if I can pin his comment. There we go. He says he thinks there will be title hangover. Um,
Could be.
that does tend to happen, but I think with the number of players the number of seasoned players that are returning, because everybody knows about is like the big guys that got drafted, Nick
Yeah.
Saban and how he fell, and Big Baby, and
Next man up, bro.
right. I think that the offense will be much improved. I think the defense might take a small step back,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to be a huge step back.
I think it's going to be the defense. The defense will take a small step back, but I think the offense actually probably will have improved. And like I told you when we were talking off camera, I was like, if Stetson does not have, if he keeps his head on his shoulders and not have that kind of like, I'm Billy, I'm the greatest ever because I had a national championship last year. If he keeps his head on his shoulders, and what Kirby has said, during the spring and that kind of stuff, he's not making the mistakes that he had been making prior. I mean, the offense could be better, but I'm just saying, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that he keeps his head on his shoulders, not thinking he's the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Don't let it get to his head. That's the only thing I got a problem with.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you 100%. There's that, and Sean mentioned that some people win a title and they tend to think that they're that everything doesn't stake. I mean, look at Johnny Manziel. He won a Heisman Trophy as a freshman at Texas A&M, and that was the best part of his football career.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That was it. That was the best part of his football career.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, looking at the schedule, what we have this year, let's see. I don't have it pulled up, but looking at what we have this year, looks like we're going to have to get to SEC West football predictions next week. But looking at the schedule that we have this year, I see, to be completely honest, my two biggest concerns are Oregon with the opening game.
Yeah.
Because we're playing against Dan Lanning.
That'll be a litmus test.
And for those of you that don't know, Dan Lanning is the genius defensive coordinator that orchestrated that incredible defense last year.
Yeah.
So we're playing against Dan Lanning. So he's familiar with Kirby's style of coaching and what Kirby will bring to the table on the offense. And so it's going to be his job. Defensive coaches are all about that defense. So I think I look to see an improved defense out of Oregon. But
you've got talent too. Like you have to, the defensive coach, you got to kind of, look at the talent you have. Like, I mean, how does Lanning have the talent that he coached last year with Oregon? I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked. I don't know what their defense is, but it just. I mean, the scheme the scheme, the play calling. I mean, that's one thing. But I mean, do you have the talent that we had? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. We'll find. I guess we'll find out. So
that's the question. I don't know.
First game against Oregon, I got that one being a close one. I do have that being a close one. Samford coming to Georgia, that's a win. Yeah. Georgia in Columbia at South Carolina, I got that one as a win. Kent State between the hedges, I have that one as a win. Missouri got that one as a win. Auburn is playing with a coach that the school doesn't want there and the players don't want to play for. In Georgia, I got that one as a win. Vandy comes to Georgia, that's a win. Georgia, Florida, that was a question mark because they have a new coach, but they're still rebuilding. I got that one as a win. Tennessee at home, that's a win. Mississippi State, I got that one as a win. The only other game that I have a question mark behind is Kentucky because they got Will Levis coming back. I don't know if they got Chris Rodriguez coming back. Yeah. And out of all the teams that we played all season last year, Kentucky was the one that really took it to the defense.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. That was the one that was very, very, very close.
That's my one question mark. And the next game after that is the Yellow Jackets at home at Sanford. So at worst, I see what is it? 11-1.
Yeah.
At worst, I see it. I'm sorry. At best, I see 12-0. At worst, Sean, I do agree with you because Oregon's tricky. and I say Kentucky's tricky. So if there's any two teams that I'm giving props to, I'm not dismissing anybody. I'm just going off of what they had last year and what they're coming into this year. Haven't seen them play yet. Once a few games get played and I reevaluate, I may change that. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and go on the optimistic side and say we run the table.
Has Georgia ever played Oregon? I don't think we've ever played them.
I don't
in my
know.
memory. But you know, that it goes back to the kind of conversation we've had off camera, whatever, blah blah. But I mean, like, you know, Kirby, and you know, you've got things in your back pocket. Like, I mean, Lanning, and that's what's kind of crazy to me. You have all these coaches that go from different teams to different teams. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, you have to have something in that back pocket, you know, that they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To answer your earlier question, we played Oregon once in 1977. We won that game 27-16.
Okay. We probably have a home and home.
That's a long home and home series.
Well, I mean, like now. I mean, like, we play them this year, and maybe we play them, you know, a couple years from now, whatever.
Nate, to answer, I'm going to get to your question here. What about Alabama? They have questions. The quarterback's supposed to be all great. They have some questions as well. You're going to have to elaborate on that for me. If you're talking about if we get a chance to play Alabama again, like if we, I'm giving it about a 96% chance that Georgia Bama match back up in SEC championship, and we don't play Alabama this season during the regular season. That's one of those marquee matchups that they kind of hold for. It's like every 2 or every 3 years or so we play them in the regular season, something like that. But we're not playing them in the regular season this year. So,
not to get off the beaten path, but I mean, way too early Final Four. Like, who do you think is going to be the Final Four?
It's way too early. I'm not even making those projections.
You're not going to make that?
No, I'm not going to be one of those people that does that way too early. Pete, the reason that, you have to understand the reason that people do that, Collin, that they do that so that they can get people to look.
I did that for a reason, bro.
No, I'm not.
I did that for a reason. You know, I did it. I want to see what your thoughts were. I know Georgia's in there.
I do think Georgia has a good chance to go back to. I said before the show, I think Georgia has a good chance of making a college football playoff. But it is. I'm also a realist, and I'm not gonna come out here and say I'm not gonna be like that other show that says this is gonna happen this year. I'm not going to do that.
Reasons I said what I said. I'm
not going to do that. Do I think like if I had to, like, right now, based on what I saw last year? I'll have to wait and see what Michigan does, but this is what I'll tell you. I know Nick is going to knock everybody in the head this year, so I'm already giving Alabama. The head nod as much as many of those.
Well, they've got a chip on their shoulder because they lost. You know
Alabama has at least been in the CFP every year, in a national championship every other year, which means they would have to be in a CFP every year. So I'm giving Alabama the head nod. I think that Georgia can make the CFP. I think Ohio State, CJ Stroud is coming back with something to prove. After that, outside of those three, I was waiting on
you to say Ohio State. I was just wondering if you were going to say Ohio State. So, I mean, that is the top three.
But you've also got other schools to think about. You have Michigan State, who was a beast last year. They just missing a couple of key pieces. Sure. You got we don't know what's going to happen at Michigan this year, whether they're going to come back with that same fervor or they're going to kind of, sure. If they're gonna mail it in because they know their coach tried to leave. Right. You got Clemson. You had the perennial favorites. We don't know what Oklahoma's going to do this year.
You don't know what USC's going to do this year. With Alabama, you got Nathan's question about Bryce Young. I mean, I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. They have questions at quarterback. It's supposed to be all that. I mean,
he got him there.
You talking about title? You talking about title hangover? Is the title loss hangover going to be a question? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has something to prove. Like, you see him, gunning it out. You know what I mean?
Nick Saban is real good about, and I don't know what the hangover cure is that he's got in Tuscaloosa, but by golly, he's got it, because they won the championship in 2018, and then I think Clemson won the following year, and then they won in 2020.
Of course.
No, I'm sorry. They won the 2018 national championship, and then it was, I want to say 2019. No, 2019 was Joe. Yeah, 2019 was Joe Burrow with LSU.
LSU, yeah.
2020, they were right back in it.
Right.
The 2021 national championship. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Okay, you know what? I'm wrong. In 2018 we lost to Bama. In 2019,
we lost the SEC championship to Bama in 18. Remember?
No, we
it was the SEC championship because Tua was in there and they probably hurt.
No, we beat Auburn. We beat Auburn and we okay, hold on. Let me back up. We won. We did not win the SEC championship.
Oh.
We lost to Auburn. Alabama had 2 losses, but Alabama still got in the playoffs because Alabama played. Did we play Auburn and they played Oklahoma? We played Oklahoma and they beat Auburn. Don't ask me how that happened. Something happened. Anyway, 2018. Wait, hold on. 2018, Alabama wins the national championship. 2019, Clemson wins the national championship. 2020, Alabama wins. Nope, I'm sorry. LSU wins the national championship.
Yeah.
The next year, 2021, not the season 2021, that bowl game in 2021, Alabama won. So Alabama, every 2 to 3 years, they're in the national championship. Nick has got the formula. He's got the hangover formula.
I figure. Look at Nate right there. Nate was like, "What about Maryland, Cincinnati, Michigan, USC?" I mean,
I already called out Michigan. I had to wait and see about Michigan. I also said I had to wait and see what happens with USC. Lincoln Riley is a great.
Cincinnati's come off a good year. Cincinnati has come off a great year. I don't know if they can maintain that this year. I don't know.
Well, let's see what they do with the replacement quarterback that they have. That's my only thing. But sometimes you can plug and play like Joe Montana to Steve Young, like Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. I got it right this week. A couple weeks ago, I was stumbling all over it. Sometimes you can plug and play, and sometimes you can't. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out of those. Yeah. Maryland, Nate. To be completely honest, I don't know what Maryland's got in the pocket.
I mean, they got to tell us on that because I don't really watch Maryland that often. Nate, what you guys got, man? I mean.
Maryland has been in some games this past season, and then there were some where they just weren't, where the mistakes cost them the game. So we'll see what they come back and do. But if Maryland is in the Big Ten now, right? I believe they're no longer in the ACC. They're in the Big Ten, which means they're in the same conference with OSU, Michigan State. So we'll see. Now Sean is definitely. I keep thinking Sean is posting the same thing. I forgot I pinned this comment. I really think we're gonna have to, and I agree with Sean. We're gonna have to wait and see on everybody because you never can tell. You know,
it will be a litmus test when we play Oregon to see kind of how our season goes. In my opinion,
if we do get a singular loss during the season, I wouldn't mind that being the loss because it wasn't like Oregon wasn't in the hunt last year.
Right.
And it would be early enough in the season and a non-conference game that wouldn't affect,
Very true.
Because essentially, if you run the table, if you go 11-1, if you lose your first game, run the rest of the table, win your conference championship, and you're the returning national champions, unless the skies fall apart and everybody else just had an absolute perfect record.
Yeah,
you're getting in.
I mean, I think if you do have a loss, it's better to have it at the early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ohio State. Ohio State got that loss early last year, and they still were in the running.
Yeah. But dear Lord, don't get that loss against a cupcake.
Wait. What do you mean? What do you mean? No way, Mr. Spencer. Please elaborate. And then we gotta move. I think we gotta close this thing out because we said we were going to try and keep it tight. We weren't going to keep you long. But while Sean is doing that, we want to thank our very last sponsor of the day, Envision Social Media. You got a social media platform. You're trying to figure out how to make it work for you and make it work for you instead of you working it. Call the folks at Envision Social Media. We'll actually reach out to them at www.envisionsocialmedia.com. I don't have a phone number. I just got the website. Reach out to the folks at www.envisionsocialmedia.com. Thank you for being a sponsor of This Week in SEC Football. Well, Sean, look at it this way. Okay, I got you. That's what I thought you were saying. I just wanted to make sure I was on the same page with you. Okay, you're the returning national champions. You have a early season loss to a team that could be a contender and probably will be a contender in the Pac-12 this year. You run the table and win your conference. That's
the thing. Is like you have to have that loss out of conference. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You run it's an out of conference loss. You run the rest of the table. You beat all the rest of your conference opponents. You win your conference. So at that point, you have a 12-1 record with an early season loss to a contender. Now, of course, what Oregon does plays into that somewhat too. But I'm not saying it's an automatic bid, but it gets you a good look. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's automatic.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I want the SEC East to kind of get better. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the last couple of years, like it's been Georgia on the upper echelon of the SEC East. I mean, I don't think we've ever had Florida obviously has their time up there at the top. You know what I mean? There's not really. I want us to be the SEC West. You know what I'm saying? Like you have now, you know, Alabama, Arkansas, you know, other Mista.
Oh wow.
You know,
SEC,
you know what I mean?
the SEC. Well, let's be real though.
We've never been good. Let's be real.
The,
I mean, honestly, let's be real. SEC East has never been that good.
Let's be no. Yeah, I was gonna say the SEC West has always been the king of the SEC because
of course.
If it wasn't, it was Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah.
And then you know Auburn fell off, but this year Ole Miss stepped up. Arkansas surprised everybody. Had a hell of showing.
Yeah.
Arkansas had a hell of showing. Texas A&M beat Alabama, and that the only other time they did that was that kid we talked about earlier, the football kid that won the Heisman Trophy and then disappeared. You know, the SEC West has always been the king of the crop. Like over here on the East, it's either been Georgia or Florida, and then for a short little teensy period right in the middle, Tennessee had a step up, and they have been living off that glory since 1996. I'm telling you what, you know. But anyway, we're not going to talk bad about.
But I mean, that's always the conversation. Like Georgia's on the East. I mean, like, oh well, I mean, you know, you're obviously going to win the East because the East is not that great. Blah blah blah. But I mean, they've had all these teams have actually had, you know, a little bit of speckles here and there being better, like Kentucky. You know, I mean, you're always gonna have Vanderbilt down there in line. But I mean, like,
I'm looking for Kentucky to have a little bit of a come up this year because
they've always been right on the cusp, like on that greatness, close.
This past season, you know, both teams came into Georgia, Kentucky. Both teams came into that game undefeated. Right. And that was not a bad loss for Kentucky because Kentucky did give us the first half of the game.
Yep.
But they just they sputtered a little bit. It's like the catalytic converter got knocked loose and they couldn't keep it. I'm just saying, and I'm not taking anything away from them. I think they're a good player.
Absolutely. But it was them, it was Arkansas, and who was the third team that was supposed to give us problems? I mean, like during the season, like there was somebody that was going to show us up. That we proceeded to just put them down.
Auburn before the wheels fell off.
Auburn, yeah. You're right.
Before the wheels completely fell off the bus. Mm-hmm. But we kind of saw that happening early in the season when they were playing South Georgia, West Georgia, whoever that was they were playing.
Yeah.
And they really had to engineer a comeback. But even then, Auburn showed some heart and some fight in the Iron Bowl. It took overtime. It took some overtime for that. I mean, they really had to put in work to beat Auburn. So, anyway, I'm digressing. About 10 minutes ago, I was calling out Gold and Blue Dude. Gold and Blue Dude, I need you. I'm isolating this clip at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 58 seconds. Gold and Blue Dude, I need you to come back on the show and explain to me what you mean about Georgia having a fall off season. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. And I think that's a serious possibility it could happen. I just want to say to my Georgia fans out there, please don't come in with the big head thinking we're going to knock everybody upside the head because we won a national championship last year. It can happen. It can happen. But Gold and Blue Dude, I need you to come back on the show and explain to me what you mean. I want to hear your take on this because I'm gonna watch the
And,
video. I haven't seen the video yet. I'm gonna watch it right after we get done with
and
it.
also, we got to see what he thinks about JT being on their starting quarterback there. We got to
Yeah,
get
we're gonna
him.
talk about that too. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. Who is the quarterback for Auburn? Right now, to tell you the truth, Nate, I don't know because they had Bo Nix and Bo transferred out.
He's Oregon. Yeah.
Oh,
Nix
he's
is
in
in Oregon.
Oregon?
He's in
Okay.
Oregon. Yes, sir.
I don't know who their quarterback is, but they still got Coach Brian Harsin, who the school definitely tried to get rid of. So something tells me it's going to be a little bit of a. I'm hoping it doesn't. Well, actually, for the sake of having material for the show, I kind of hope it does turn into a Ed Ogeron type circus. But
Right.
so we shall see. Oh, you're absolutely right, Sean. It's definitely not easy, but Coach is good about keeping the heads level. So having said that, we're gonna move on to our next segment. We're gonna move on to our final segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, which we like to call the 2-minute warning.
Boom.
I take time to. I said this on. I shot this out on the Swinton show, the Swinton Sunday morning show. Take the time to take care of your physical as well as your mental. Okay, there's a huge push as of late for mental awareness and making sure that you take care of you and take your you time and find ways to be able to express how you feel about certain things, and sometimes you have to pull away and regroup before you can give your time to other people. And I'm 100% behind that. God knows I'm 100% behind that. The other thing that I am behind also, the one thing that I do know, however, is that the mental cannot function without the physical. I mean, the two can be mutually exclusive. Your body cannot be working and your brain still work, but make sure that while you have your health, that you look after your health, that you able to get to the doctor and get your regular checkups. And even if it's something as simple as walking around the block a couple of times in the evening after you have dinner. I'm almost 52 years old. I got a treadmill in there that I'm about to go get on this. Well, actually, I got an errand to run after this. I'm come back, go get on the treadmill and walk a couple of miles. I have a goal every day of walking 6 miles. That is my goal. I hit it yesterday. I looked up and my thing buzzed, and I was like, okay. Now I'm not even halfway there yet, which means I got some work to be done. But make sure you take care of your physical as well as your mental, because when you get the two of them together, you get somebody physically sound and got their brain together. Woo, woo. That's all I got.
Bro, it's so funny you just said that. My parents were just here this weekend. My father's so much on me just to take a walk around the block. He's pushing 70. He's like 68. My mom's like 60, 67, 66, 67. And it's just so funny that you mentioned that. Like he talked to me about the same things they do. You're home, working from home. He said, man, just go out. And every time he's here, he just walks around my block. He's telling you, Collin, I'm 45, but pushing 46. He said, dude, just walk around the block. That's all you got to do. You just walk around the block. And it's just funny that you brought that up because he's been trying to beat that in my head. Which, like you said, that kind of walk, you can be, collective with your thoughts, and then kind of you can think about certain things, whatever, blah, blah, what have you. But that's just your exercise, just walking. You don't have to run, you don't have to sprint, you don't have to do any kind of stuff. Just walk. You know what I mean? Once you get this age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And
it's just
and, and
funny that you mentioned that because I mean he's been on me for for a long time just
and you
to get out
and,
and walk. You know what I'm
and
saying?
and you do like your liquid bread in a can, my friend. I'm just saying.
No, it's a show. I really don't do that often. I just do it on the show. Like honestly, I don't go out that often. You'd be surprised, bro. I really don't go out that often. Like it's just I'm getting older where I don't like being around people. You know what I'm saying? People I like, you understand what I'm saying.
Get off my lawn.
Dude, you did the KJ, you did karaoke DJ thing, man. It's just, people I like. But I mean, when you get older, you don't want to be in that compact area. You know
Is
what I'm
that bad that probably the next time we have a karaoke reunion, it'll be all of us old heads and we'll go to one of those bars where everybody's middle aged and they're like, man, I gotta get home. It's 10 o'clock.
Right? You better do that thing at like 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we got to go to. Have we become the happy hour karaoke crowd? We got to go to happy
for sure, for sure, dude. You say that. I really wish we could put that together. That would be an awesome thing to do.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Get Gash down here. I mean, he's in Jersey right now, right? Where's he at now?
Yeah, he's in Jersey.
In Jersey.
Yeah, I think eventually
Carlos and Kelly's or maybe like Nez.
Oh, Carlos is
closed. Closed. The Nez by my house closed. All right, Centerville. Sorry.
Yeah, Carlos is closed and the Centerville Nez is closed.
Wow.
Rest in peace to two great Fairfax institutions that our parents probably would have called dens of iniquity. But they were two of the greatest karaoke venues that ever existed in the
greatest people I've met in the world. I mean, like you include, I mean, like everybody. You know what I mean?
So yeah,
it was great, great crowd.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. It the thing is that you know, just to put a lid on what we were talking about in the 2-minute warning. Make sure you take care of your physical and your mental health. Because just a few minutes of exercise a day get your blood pumping. And we all know that blood flow helps all of the brain work and everything else. And yeah, so get out there and, you know, just make sure you take care of your physical. You don't have to join a gym or anything like that, but make sure you take care of yourself. Because take care of
your mental. You know, I mean, you get
take care of your physical just as much as you take care of your mental. Well, sir, I think we managed to talk through everything and not even get to a topic, so we'll save that one for next week. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank you for joining us this week for This Week in the SEC Football. We will be back next week. We want to thank our sponsors, Envision Social Media, 1906tees.com, Greek Gans, and DJG Enterprises.com. Thank y'all so much for being sponsors. To those of you that have donated to the cause, it's still May. It's still May, and for the entire month of May, we're just pointing this out to everyone. We'd love for you to go by www.cdhi.org and post a donation to CDH International for congenital diaphragmatic hernia research and awareness. And that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
Well, no. I mean, you know how me and you get together. We just kind of, you know, we talk and talk and talk and talk. I know what is it? Minute 20 now?
You know how that goes, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we want to thank everybody that dropped through, AJ and Sean and Kat and my buddy Matt Havlovic and there were a lot of you that jumped in the comments tonight. So thank you all so much. Big Nate, Sydney Swinton, all of those of you from Let's Talk Football family. We appreciate y'all dropping through. We're going to be back next Monday to talk more about this. Until then, y'all be good to yourselves and each other. I am Mr. Fingaz. That is the brother from another Collin P. And we are OUWT. Holla. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
It won't stop recording.
Dandelion crusted rib.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. Hang on a second, y'all. We got to figure out. There it is. Okay. Now we're getting ready to get out of here. We'll see you later. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.